You know, we're not that far from home.
We're actually in our living room right now.
In fact, we're in home. Guess what? Behind the scenes, our studio's our living room.
Pretty sure people already knew that.
Oh my gosh, what?
Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? We're the Cinefanatics. My name is Chris Adams.
And I'm Robert Adams.
And we are bringing you a movie review today. It is Spider-Man Far From Home. I was looking forward to this one.
Yeah. So right off the bat, I know the title of this video says no spoilers, and there's going to be no spoilers.
For a little bit.
Until later.
And then there'll be spoilers.
There will be plenty of time and space to let you know that there's about to be spoilers. So
There'll be time codes also. You can click for spoilers, and you can click after the spoilers are over where we give our rating. That way you can just go straight to the rating where there won't be any more spoilers again. Is that complicated enough for you?
that should be fairly easy. Let us know what you think of this format by commenting down below.
Spoilers. No spoilers.
Yeah. So, Spider-Man Far From Home. Like I said, right off the bat, no spoilers.
Yep.
Quite possibly one of the best Spider-Man movies ever, I would say, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a really good live action Spider-Man.
I think they did a fantastic job with, basically the story post Endgame.
Yeah.
I think they did a phenomenal job with how they handled that, and even as going so far as the fact that the story primarily takes place overseas.
Yeah.
Not in the United States, not in New York, where we're primarily familiar with Spider-Man stories taking place at.
Wait, you mean Spider-Man is far from home?
Yeah, that's...
What?
If you really want to blow your mind, remember the first one was called Homecoming.
He came home to Marvel?
Yeah.
What?
So, corny jokes and titles aside, again, fantastic movie. I think Tom Holland really is nailing how to play Spider-Man in these movies. And I would say he's actually ventured into probably my favorite Spider-Man of the three modern Spider-Men.
The three modern Spider-Men?
Yeah, well, I'm not counting Hammond back in the 70s on the Spider-Man TV show and the made-for-TV movies.
Nobody who clicked on this video cares about that.
Or knows who I'm talking about.
Exactly. So that's, yeah, Tom Holland just nails the Peter Parker role. He's got it. He's really growing into his own in this character. There's much more that Spider-Man is able to do that is more and more like his comic book counterpart the more that we see of him. On top of that, like the rest of the cast, just to touch on before we get into any like bigger details for bigger cast members, just the overall cast. I mean, the story as it continues from Homecoming still revolves around all of the classmates and everything, and they all play just the same amount of big role in this movie, just bouncing off and being there with Peter the entire time. And everybody's still just lovable, fantastic. It's still got that John Hughes vibe to it, which, you know, it's something I was kind of wondering going into this. Is it still going to have that same kind of tone as Homecoming?
Mm-hmm.
And it does. It has that exact same tone, I believe. I think some aspects they might have made it a little more grand, but others they really just kept it.
Which is what you expect in a sequel. Take the idea that was set in the first one and make it a little bit bigger.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep what works, get rid of what doesn't, grow something more and different when you move on.
What I do like in touching on that is the fact that when Marvel has been doing Spider-Man ever since like Civil War, is that the Spider-Man that they have done does not necessarily fit in line with the comic book story of Spider-Man. Like we know from Homecoming, not giving anything away for this movie, but you know, like MJ is Michelle.
Yeah.
It's not Mary Jane.
Mary Jane doesn't exist in these movies.
His best friend in this movie is Ned, which is a kind of a throwback to Ned Leeds from the comics.
But he is Ned Leeds in these movies.
Yeah. I don't think they've said his last name, but for all intents and purposes, it's Ned Leeds. Oh, they did?
Yes.
Okay, cool. But it's not Harry Osborn, so I mean, they're doing a departure from that. Iron Man was never Peter Parker's mentor. They're kind of taking these concepts of these characters from the comics, they're tweaking them just a little bit, and I believe it's actually working. If anyone, like if Sony was to do this on their own without Marvel's guidance, I don't think it would work.
They tried.
Well, not to this extent. Like, there's been a Mary Jane. There was Gwen Stacy in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. And I think they did a pretty decent job at that. But this is taking what we know from the comics, twisting it, and it still works.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sony's had their run, and now they have Marvel backing them, and they're getting it right.
So, like with that, Zendaya does fantastic as MJ, Michelle, whatever. These things that they've tweaked and twisted, the characters they've got are still really good, and I think they're doing a phenomenal job with how they play them.
Yeah, and I mean, like that's the thing. You have all these characters. A lot of these characters, a couple of them are from the comics. Some of them original characters. Everyone works together. Everyone's great. Full cast is fantastic. Yeah, and then you have Nick Fury, Maria Hill, and then you have Mysterio.
Which, okay, for Mysterio, Jake Gyllenhaal was the perfect cast for Mysterio.
He really nailed that role.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's about as much as we can really talk about Mysterio without going into spoilery context.
Yeah.
Because his name is Mysterio, so therefore...
He's mysterious.
Yeah. But yeah, perfect casting. Everything they did with Mysterio in this movie, I absolutely love. And we will definitely be expanding on this when we talk about spoilers.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, go see it. Come back and feel free to listen to us go on about that.
Yeah. So storyline, fantastic. Special effects were amazing in this.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's
perfect.
I love where this movie came from, went, and will be going, so to speak.
Yeah, and so, I mean, so to kind of wrap up our spoiler-free thoughts here is just the overall tone, overall story, characters, everything is in line. There's not a whole lot that I can say is really at fault about this. Maybe it might take some more thinking about for a little while, because I mean, we now live in a world where Into the Spider-Verse exists, and that was a fantastic Spider-Man movie, albeit not live action. Homecoming really set the bar for what they could do with Spider-Man going forward, and then you have John Watts as a director having nailed Homecoming and now nailing this one. There really isn't a whole lot bad I can say right now about it.
Yeah.
So I mean, as far as our spoiler-free thoughts go, that's that. There's going to be, again, time code in the description. If you want to see what our ranking is, we're going to talk about that after we do spoilers. So this is your warning. We are about to get into spoilers.
Whatever a spider can, spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
Spoilers now. If you haven't seen it, turn it off. You've been warned. Holy crap, Mysterio's a villain.
Yeah.
Who didn't see that coming?
No, Tony Stark. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
It's a clever turn of phrase right there.
Yeah. So, yeah, if we're getting into spoilers, we just have to start with Mysterio because everything is about Mysterio.
Yes.
Pretty much what you expect going into this movie, if you know anything about Mysterio at all, is exactly what happens.
I mean, there was like some tweaks to him. I mean, obviously he's not from some multiverse. There was no multiverse. We knew that was pretty much going to be a ruse from the trailers.
Every major news publication was like, now that Marvel's introducing the multiverse, I was like, calm your britches there, folks.
Yeah. Did you say britches?
Calm your britches.
The 1930s called. They want their phrases back.
Well, nowadays called and they want their plot twists to actually be plot twisty.
Yeah. So, yeah, multiverse was all a scam. I mean...
You figure it out pretty early in the movie, too, which is fair enough.
What you would think.
I would hope so, because Mysterio's the villain. Did you know he was the villain?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mind blown.
What? He's a villain in the comics and he wasn't a villain in the movie. That's crazy.
So some of the tweaks they did to him, we were talking earlier in the non-spoilery part about how they make small tweaks to characters.
Yeah.
Mysterio, one of the things was that they made him an ex-employee of Tony Stark instead of a movie special effects expert.
And going as far as to actually place him in a scene from Civil War.
Yeah.
When Tony's introducing the gadget that lets him relive his parents or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Barf.
Barf.
Yeah. So that was nice. And then the fact that all of his co-conspirators were all also like shunned former employees of Tony Stark, even going so far as one of them being in the first Iron Man being scolded by Obadiah Stane.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not Tony Stark.
Yeah, that was fantastic touch. Nice little...
Really good.
I like the fact, again, he's not a Hollywood special effects expert, but it's still it's Mysterio for all intents and purposes. It's still Mysterio. He's still true to the core of his character.
Yeah, he's got his merry band of cohorts that he is. I'm just really on the 30s tonight, aren't I?
Yeah.
But he's still like theoretically with all the monsters and everything. He's still putting on a show like a Hollywood special effects person would do. And so I mean that's crazy. Like they're using drones to kind of like do the elementals and elementals, not really elementals.
I like they still mentioned when they were fighting the water one afterwards, they were mentioning like on the news of how they believe it was a lost person named Morris Bench. Maury Bench is Hydro Man in the comics. Like great little nods. There was a lot of good nods.
In real time, I didn't catch that. He did. I just found out just now. You watched it happen.
Yeah. When they were talking about the multiverses, he said that your Earth is 616, mine's like 883 or something like that. And 616 is the number classified to the standard Marvel universe.
And see,
nerd. Yes.
Yeah, I caught that, and see that was actually throwing me off at first, and I think that was a good thing that they did that for the audience, because all of us who know Mysterio are expecting him to turn around and be a bad guy, but then when he actually mentions Earth 616, it's like, wait, hold up. I know he's got to be the bad guy, but are they actually still doing a multiverse with this too? Is he both a bad guy and multiverse? How's this gonna work?
So quick theory, like just like the Marvel universe, normal universe is 616, the Marvel Cinematic Universe also has a numerical designation to it in this Marvel multiverse. I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but it does have another number.
However, in the movies, they are keeping with the 616.
No, I think they threw that in as like the first like hint or sign. Like, look, the 616 is not the Marvel Cinematic Universe. 616 is the normal comic book universe. So that was probably your first clue that Mysterio is probably lying and twisting things, that he wasn't accurate about that.
But then that goes back to the people who know better about Mysterio anyway, and they're the ones who are going to catch that.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to mention, we've got to mention about Mysterio, is there is a sequence in the movie where he starts terrorizing Spider-Man with illusions and special effects. And here's the backstory about me real quick. Ever since the first Spider-Man, even go back further, Mysterio is probably my favorite villain from the Spider-Man comics. I don't know why. I just like the idea of him. So when they first introduced Spider-Man 1 in the Sam Raimi trilogy, I was like, man, it would be really cool if they ever get like Mysterio as a bad guy in these movies. Fast forward to...
We'll put him in the video game.
Fast forward, yeah. Clack 2, Barada, Nikto. Yeah. Spider-Man 2 video game out there. Fast forward to now, where we are the second movie into the third series of Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
And we finally get Mysterio, and I am weeping with joy, because when that sequence started and they started doing all the special effects and everything, I was like, this is what Mysterio is. It's perfect.
They got someone who understood the character, understood what the fans want to see, know the technology that they're capable of, and they put on, that was quite possibly the greatest like sequence of all Spider-Man movies.
Yeah,
I think was just that bit that nailed it, 100% perfect. What we were expecting to see with Mysterio interacting with Spider-Man. I will put this kind of on par, and I know it's a little bit different, but the Doctor Strange scene when the Ancient One blows his mind.
Yeah.
It's kind of that sequence, but I feel like, I feel like this resonates a little bit more because this actually is what Mysterio would do, while the Ancient One would just do that because she's just showing off powers, so to speak. That's not what they're known for. This is what Mysterio is known for, and it was put on spectacular display in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, just I can't say enough about how perfectly they nailed Mysterio's character. And I'm sad that I cannot dive into this in the non-spoilers, because I need people to know that they've nailed Mysterio's character perfectly. And I can't say it. But for those of you who know, you know. As far as the other aspects of the movie, though, because I could go on all day about Mysterio. Just the overall story, like, I love what they're doing with the the aspect between MJ and Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. I like what they did with her character. They really made her kind of like really awkward. Like she was pretty headstrong in Homecoming. She knew what she was about,
But she was putting up like a front.
and she's putting up a front. In this one, a lot of good character development for her. She began breaking down her walls and letting Peter in, and to the point where that little kiss that they shared at the end was really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was a bit awkward. I hope they kind of grow into their relationship a little bit more.
Yeah. So there's that, and then we have to get into like post-credit stuff too.
Yes. Oh, jeez. The Daily Bugle
Finally makes an appearance.
in the MCU, the official MCU, the Daily Bugle is involved.
Yep.
And bless their hearts, now it's my turn. Bless their hearts, they got J.K. Simmons to come back as J. Jonah Jameson. Fantastic cameo. Absolutely loved it.
There's a sense of relief on me right now because he's been the only Jameson that we've seen in movies. Nobody else can play him as well as J.K. Simmons has. I could not even begin to think of someone else that could cast to play him.
Yeah.
And then they bring him back, and it's I loved it.
I especially loved like hearing the entire theater like like going to
Yeah.
a full theater of people all gasping at the same time that J.K. Simmons is up there. Like that was just amazing.
And I said this after the movie was over. This is it was something that now that you're thinking about it and having watched it, of course they had to bring him back because what they needed for that scene, that end credit scene where Mysterio gives away who Spider-Man is to everybody, they needed to have the punch of that reporter, that Jameson reporter who's like, Spider-Man is a bad and all that. They
Yeah.
needed to have that right there. And the only way you're going to get that sold is if it's somebody who you know in that role giving that performance. So they had to bring back J.K. Simmons for that.
Yeah. And then the absolute after the credits scene, which I thought this was kind of funny that it's revealed that Maria Hill and Nick Fury are actually Talos and his wife,
Yeah.
Sorna, something like that.
Sure.
And which, when they first show it, I'm sitting here thinking maybe this is a nod to like the fact that they are venturing into the secret invasion storyline, which is what we thought they were creating with the Skrulls being introduced in Captain Marvel. Come to find out that wasn't true in Captain Marvel. So now here we see them again posing as Nick Fury and Maria Hill, and we're like, oh, it's going to be the secret invasion. That's where we're going now that Endgame and Thanos and everything is over.
Yeah.
This is the next for Phase 4.
They keep dangling that thread in front of us. And
Thinking it's going to be secret invasion.
And they yank it back going, nah.
And it's just that they're masquerading as Nick Fury and Maria Hill to give Nick Fury and Maria Hill some time away. Apparently
you silly, silly people. That's not what we're doing.
Apparently he's working with Skrulls on a massive ship for some reason or another. I don't know. I'm guessing they found a home world from Captain Marvel, so they're still working with the Skrulls for something or another. I don't know.
Is that why he told Peter not to mention Captain Marvel's name earlier?
Possibly.
Huh.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, no, you got the post-credit scenes. Those are both very fascinating, and it kind of really it gives a little bit of hint as to the direction they're going for Phase 4. Not too much, but just a little bit.
I'm expecting to hear more when Marvel does their presentation at San Diego Comic-Con this year.
Yeah.
So we might get a little bit more of a headway direction that it's going based off of that.
So questions that this leaves me now is Mysterio actually still alive? Because apparently in this movie we're supposed to believe that he's dead. I think after the video that he left on the screen to give to the Daily Bugle and all that, I think he's got to still be alive, especially since you know that they're trying. Sony's been wanting to set up the Sinister Six the entire time, and you know Marvel, you know Kevin Feige is so down with having the Sinister Six show up at some point.
Yeah.
It is one of the big Spider-Man just storylines, even though it's been done many, many times with different members. But Sinister Six is a big Spider-Man. It's like the bad guy Avengers for Spider-Man.
Pretty much, yeah. Which is what we need at this point.
Yeah.
We need like a big bad guy Avengers to take on someone. If not the Avengers, then yeah, the Sinister Six storyline
I'm still waiting for Baron Zemo to come back
with the Masters of Evil.
the
Wow,
Masters
we're
of
getting
Evil.
to some nerdy territory here.
Yeah. But anyway, you know they're trying to set up the Sinister Six at some point. So Mysterio's still got to be alive. You know you got Vulture and Scorpion hanging out in prison somewhere.
Potentially Shockers still
Potentially
around.
Shockers is still around. So I mean, these guys are like dangling out there somewhere. Everything's dangling. I don't know why. It's late. We got out of the movie. It's late. So there's a bunch of loose threads that have to be tied up for like Sinister Six wise, and I'm hoping this because I want more Mysterio. I loved that scene, that part, that sequence. I need more of it.
Hopefully he gets his own show on the Disney Plus streaming service.
I don't know about that.
That would be awesome.
Maybe with Loki.
The Mysterio show.
I'd watch it. But anyway, we're going to bring it back to a spoiler-free section now so we can give our final thoughts and a rating. Because apparently we do that now.
So if you're joining us from hitting the time code down below, welcome back.
We're not doing any spoilers now, so you're good and safe.
Yep.
So final thoughts. Really enjoyed the movie. Think they had a lot packed in there, a lot of good stuff. I'm really eager to see how this carries forward into the MCU going forward.
Yeah.
Phase 4 and beyond. I mean, I have to... What did I give Endgame? Oh, yeah, I gave it like a 10 out of 5.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this maybe a 4...
Fish bowls.
You're going fishbowl.
I'm going fish bowl.
I was going to say the Spider-Man logo, but you're editing it, and I'm okay with fishbowls because I like Mysterio. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to give this probably about a 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
4.5? Well, somewhere in there. Whatever you decide to put down here, that's my rating.
You know, I will actually agree with that. I'm going to go 4.5. So you're going to get 4.5 because it's just easy for me to just take the ones that were down there
And move them right.
and move them right over here.
Sounds good. I'm good with that.
Yeah. So 4.5 fish bowls for me as well. Fantastic movie. I cannot wait to watch this movie again.
Yeah.
And I'm still wanting to watch Endgame again. And
Yeah.
I've already seen it twice.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of rewatching Marvel movies that we got to catch up on pretty soon here. So
Yeah.
anyways, that's going to do it for this review. Have you seen Spider-Man Far From Home? What did you think about it? Let us know down in the comments. And again, also let us know, what did you think of this format of giving a review with the no spoilers, little bit of spoilers, and then back to a spoiler-free ending? Let us know your thoughts and feelings on that by commenting that down below. We're trying to venture into this new way of giving a review, and we like to get some feedback on that. Also, what did you think of this video overall as a whole? Let us know. Hit like, or you could hit dislike.
Like. You can hit like.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just hit like.
Also, above our heads, there is a subscription button because I know it's there. Also, there's a couple other videos over here off to the side that we have made. Go check those out. And as always,
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
later.
Oh. In the morning, I'm making myself a good old bowl of Mysterio as part of this complete breakfast.